Hey guys, Kev here, and as you know, a fellow lefty, new lefty friend, Zach, sent me this Shamwari to check out. This is a lefty Shamwari. This is the Cheka blade shape, and it's left-handed, obviously, and it's really cool, and it's on bearings, and I am very glad to be checking it out. I'm hopefully going to convince him to sell it to me. I do love the Urban. I do have a lefty on order. And I thought maybe some people would want to see a quick comparison, so I grabbed this as well. This is a righty, but it's a little bit smaller. They're very similar and very different. I mean, they have slim, sleek, simple designs with beautiful hand satins, front flipper designs. They're made by South Africans. They both offer apparently left-handed and right-handed versions. What I love about the Urban that the Shamwari doesn't have is the ability to flick it off of the grind, because the blade actually sticks out a little bit, where on the Shamwari it's a slimmer blade and it fits into the handle much nicer, which aesthetically I think is cleaner over here. You also have a front flipper that sticks up here and not here, really. This one's more of a push. This is more of a pop. This one has a stronger detent because of that. Basically, he can, dial it a little bit stronger. And the way the Sham is set up, the detent's a little bit softer. If you're not on that lock bar, I can do this easily, right? But when you go to actually flick it, you're kind of on the lock bar and you strengthen the detent yourself. And it ends up being a very satisfying flip. It's just a different experience. It's more of a push in versus on this where you're kind of pushing out. It's just, I don't know how to explain it. It's just different. Anyway, I just wanted to show that real quick. Love the Urban. You guys know that. Anyway, Zach said I could take this apart. I wanted to see if I could, put skips in here for him and possibly myself if he lets me buy it, which I know. I'm probably dreaming. But then I wanted to also just take a look inside. Now, the pivot did tend to... Ooh, that was loose. The pivot did tend to loosen quickly, so he did say I could glue it. He actually uses super glue himself, so I don't have to worry about whether that's a bad idea or not. The only downside to it is that... Wow, those are tiny. The only downside to it is that... okay, calm down. Is... that I can't kind of control where I'm setting it to. So I just want to see if this is captive in any way. So, interesting. So this is basically welded on? Is that correct? Because I was thinking if it's a spinning pivot and you're going to glue it, I don't know if that's a great idea, because obviously that's going to cause... it might be hard to break that Loctite, but if this is part of the actual barrel, it still could cause issues if this will spin, right? Don't see any captive system here, so don't know if that's the best idea, gluing it. Because you would think, see how, this can just spin. Really would hate to have it, I don't know. Interesting. I just wouldn't want to glue it and then be responsible for that being a major issue, because I've caused major issues before. Let's put that there. Here's the tiny bearings. I thought maybe I could have some skips that fit, but I seriously doubt it. I do actually have very small skips. Maybe they were meant for this knife. I don't know. But I think they're even smaller than that. Like, I think these are smaller than them. I'll show you what I mean, though. Maybe we'll get lucky. Because he does make skips. Absolutely tiny ones. And I always wondered what they were for. Where are you, you little guys? I only have one set. Not these. These. Yeah, they're too thick, see? I don't think they would fit into that cage. And then these, seem like where are the little guys? Where you at? Usually have some here. I don't know. The pivot area is just way too big on these. So I bet you the pivot would fit here, but I just doubt the size would work. I mean, we could check it. Can't hurt. Actually, we could use our card, maybe. So let's get these in. So let's see. Card says 3/64 ball. Interesting. No, wait. 1 millimeter? Yeah. So it's a 3/64 ball. Very odd size. And then pivot-wise, we have a 1/8 pivot. Man, these are a couple things I haven't seen a lot of. So 1/8 3/64 ball, and what these are 1/8 and 1/16. So they're not going to fit in here. They're going to be, yeah, they're just too big. So I'm surprised Skiff has not made Shamwari bearings. That's interesting. All right. That's good to know that this has steel cage, steel bearings. I absolutely hate that, but, you know, not the end of the world, maybe. I think Riot makes some of these in, like, Teflon or something, but let us clean everything up here, put everything back in. There wasn't much to see there. That's the inside of the sham, in case anybody's worried. Well, D, it's some locator stuff. Here's your clip screws. Guessing everything on here is T6. Everything on here is T6. There's a giant ceramic detent ball. I like that. It does not have a steel insert. That's something Trevor Berger does, is a steel insert. I'm comparing them because they're both South African front flippers. So in case you're wondering why is Kev constantly comparing, that is why. Here's your stop pin. Nice and chunky stop pin for such a small knife. Really like that. Dig on that. Your bearings are running on titanium. So that's interesting, but pretty normal. Let me clean this up. And there you have a track on the blade and everything. Detent track, all the good stuff. I'm not going to clean the blade because I'm just going to get it nasty again anyway. So a little bit of oil for our bearings. And I, of course, always put the bearing facing that way. I probably should have paid attention to how he had it, but you know what? While we're here, let me grab this. Clean that detent hole. A little bit of schmutz on there. Good. Clean our pivot pocket. Why not, right? All right. We do have a hollow grind. So one way you can get really good action on a knife is to have appropriate sized bearings and pivot for the knife. So in this case, they're smaller. It's a smaller knife, lighter blade. So if you have smaller bearings and a smaller pivot, you're going to get good action like you might get on a big knife with bigger bearings, right? Trevor Berger here, actually, this knife is smaller than this one, but he uses 3/16, 1/16 bearings, so it's not quite as drop shut. Part of that is the lock bar tension. This one has a much stronger detent. You can see there, when I push that lock bar out of the way, it's just free dropping. So it's lock bar tension that keeps the blade from swinging as far, where this doesn't have as strong of a detent. So because of that, oh, you know what I forgot? I didn't put any KPL heavy. Always like to put a little bit of KPL heavy on our detent ball or the track. You got to be careful here because we are working with a that is a tiny dot, and that's all I need. We're working with a frame lock with no insert, so just need to be careful. Okay, get that out of the way. Definitely don't want to hit anything. There we go. Okay, let's try this again. Put that down. All right. Pop this guy on. Should just pop on. And yeah, I don't know if I really want to mess with glue. I just don't know if I like that idea because, I mean, it's such a simple construction. Look at this pivot screw. I mean, this thing is microscopic. I guess if you used a tiny amount of glue, but is this steel? It is. Interesting. Being very gentle. Not threading. Okay. Oh, there's a Chicago screw. Didn't even notice. What a simple construction, but in a good way, you know? Let me just get this bad boy on here. Like this. It's okay, buddy. You can go in. And that's why I love a driver like this. You can spin the out of it. Be careful here to not mess with the centering. Is dead on, but I don't know how tight I am. There we go. That's tight. Centering is dead nuts down the center here. Wow. Just as smooth as we left it, that's for sure. So, here's the question. To glue or not to glue? I guess you can get good pressure on this to be able to do it without, you know, without screwing it up. If you get enough pressure on that pivot, you can, you know, undo the glue. But I just worry about how tight to go as well. But let me just see. Let me do a test run here. Okay, so test run. No play. No drop either, but probably break in real quick. Let's give it a shot. Let's give it a shot. I'm going to use an absolute minuscule amount because I don't want to mess anything up. But he says he does it, so let me clean the screw off. It's such a small, everything's small. It's like hard to hang on to anything. It's so delicate. All right, that was a very, very minor amount there. Come back a little. That's good. Centering, you know, feel like it might be over to the clip side, but I don't really think so. I think it's just in my head. This is a game I play with every knife. That looks dead nuts. Same thing I've been dealing with my Demco feel like it's off to this side, but I don't think it really is. I think it's just a mental thing. So I'm going to let that sit. That's tight. And there we go. Back together. I mean, that's super easy to get apart and put back together, that's for sure. We'll see if it loosens up again over time. I would love to see some skips for this, or somebody make some, you know. I hate steel cage, steel bearings. I just think it's so wrong to have a $1,000 knife and then have steel cage, steel bearings. Maybe I need to get over that, but I'm going to give it a minute before I flick it because of the glue, so I'm just going to let it go. But there's a quick disassembly of the Gareth Bull Shamwari lefty 3-inch Cheka on bearings. And then there's the Trevor Burger Urban here. A little bit of a comparison we did as well. Absolutely love this knife. And so far, I really like this knife as well. He also sent me a... what did I do with it? A Chris Reeve small Sabenza lefty. It's a double lug, and I can kind of flick it if I wrist it out, but just not my style. You know, I don't love these studs. I just don't love slow rolling, and that's really ultimately what you're meant to do with the Chris Reeve. You know, we could talk all we want about how you can flick it and you can do this and that. I get it. You can do whatever you want with your knife. But I'm pretty sure they're meant to be slow rolled. They pretty much tell you that because they tell you not to flick them. But it is very well made, and, you know, it definitely falls in line with these. So you have 3 South African born sort of designs. You can see the simplicity and everything in what they do, and I really appreciate that. It's definitely up my alley, and I love the finish work on all 3 of these. They're all different, you know. They all have a different type of finishing on the titanium, but they all look spectacular. I love the pivot collars, or whatever you call these, on the shams. They're really, really cool. So all right, I'm going to shut up. Let me know what you guys think. I love you guys. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day, and I will catch you later.